Ladies and gentlemen, if everyone could please get their seats. I'm kind of known for starting on time, but somehow this didn't work. So we're a few minutes late, but I like us to make sure that our timing is good so that we can hear every single word from every single speaker, because this is going to be an incredible presentation. I want to say good morning to all of you. Not only the attendees here, but we have a whole load of people who are on Zoom who couldn't make it to come in and took that option. And those folks are from all over the state and probably out of the state as well. So welcome to all of you. I'd like to start with a story. It's probably a story many of you have heard before, but I'll have a little twist to it. It's about a man who placed his trust in God his whole life. Alas, there was a tremendous storm in his town, and the river was overflowing and flooding where he lived. The man receives an evacuation notice. It says, "Evacuate immediately," and he refuses to leave, and he says, "God will save me." As the water rises and covers his home's first floor, people in a rowboat come to him, and they say, "Jump in, we'll take you to safety." He refuses. "God will save me." The water keeps rising and covers the second floor, and he hangs out the window. A larger boat appears and beckons him to join them to be saved from the flood. He refuses. "God will save me." The water increases and covers his entire house, and he's isolated on the roof. A helicopter appears, and the pilots send out a rope and urges to lift and save him from drowning. His answer is the same as before: "No, God will save me." He drowns. When the man goes to heaven, he speaks to God. "I can't have been more virtuous and a believer my whole life. Why didn't you save me from the flood?" God answers, "Listen, dude, I tried, but you weren't listening. I told you to evacuate, and you refused. I sent a rowboat, and you wouldn't get in. I sent a larger boat, and you scuffed them off, and finally a helicopter throwing out a lifeline. What else did you want?" We've all had the cues now. Extreme weather events, tornadoes, even here in New York, which my lifetime I hadn't seen. Diseases caused by the climate change, floods. Are we waiting for a superpower to save us? When the first pilot wind farm in Fenner was proposed in Madison County, there were those who fought the project and put it off for years until they could get approval, even though the flood was reaching the first floor. They waited way too long. But 25 years later now, we're proud of the wind farm, and you can visit it today, by the way, which I'll mention again. Some people want to visit it. I don't know with this weather how it's going to be. But it took too many years before it actually was put up. But like in the story, the water kept rising as our energy needs kept increasing. We were introduced to solar energy, both on roofs and solar farms, and we covered them each year in one of our symposium. Again, we're given another lifeline, but some people wanted to ban solar even on rooftops. It took a while for us to embrace the use of personal solar energy. It was just too long. We were losing time. But as the effects of climate change were increasing by the year, and like the man in that story I told, we were stranded on the second floor with the water rising. We needed to heed, to do something, and we did, being more aggressive with large solar farms. Once more, there were protests, and it took a long time to accept and then build solar farms, times we do not have. Last night we were discussing it takes something like 5 to 7 years when it's first introduced before it actually happens. That's time being lost here. As we realized the potential of geothermal energy under our feet, we found reasons to mostly ignore the obvious source of energy. But folks, the water is still rising, and we're on the roof. If helicopters are offered to us, we must grab those ropes and rise above the flood. We need to capture and use every resource available and not put it off. Our scientists are working really hard on possibilities to use renewable energy as we speak. It may not be God telling us this, but definitely nature and ecology is telling us this. Today, we're going to hear about an important option. And as I said, each year in the past 22 years, there was something new coming up that we learned about. This year, battery storage, which will help provide us with one of the lifelines. Uninterrupted power by storing the energy created for our use when we need it. It is the next step in our fervent quest to reverse climate change and its awful effects. The helicopter's coming to rescue us. Will we get aboard? Change can be difficult and disturbing, with a fear of the unknown and possibly upending what we're used to. But the man in the story was relying on a superpower to save him, not what was offered to him. Remember, when we were afraid of cell towers, we had that argument, and now they're part of our landscape. And we need them for our phones, or we complain a lot. Somehow, we got used to the many electrical lines all over the place on our landscape, and we don't complain about those. And solar on our roofs is just common, and on the farms, the solar farms. These were options given to us to save us, and after much discussion and too much time elapsed, we accepted those options. But it often takes too long to accept these options because we're drowning, folks. Each year, the symposium is adding a new possibility for the use of renewable energy to help clean our environment. More options are being worked on as we speak, and there are possible solutions that we haven't even heard of. Today, we'll be hearing a next step in the capture and use of renewable energy, capturing the excess energy produced by wind and solar, which we worked so hard to get, and storing in batteries. So when the wind is blowing and the sun is shining, it'll be available when we need it to prevent our losing power because it'll be stored in batteries. We'll also hear again about geothermal, which is energy given to us by nature under our feet for our use, and which we do not take enough advantage of. Next year, hopefully, we'll have more new ideas presented that we can take advantage of. But it's up to us whether we can accept change and be saved from the devastating effects of climate change, or still depend on a super being who'll save us. Folks, the flood is quickly reaching the roof. This is going to be your decision in the very near future, whether or not to accept a new way for us to capture energy and store it. The fact that you are here and online shows that you're relying on your options, not on a superpower to save us. With that, I'd like to mention that we have an extremely interesting group of people here. I hope you take advantage to talk to each other during any break that we do have, of which we seem to have fewer because we started late. I want to call out that we have a large number of mayors and deputy mayors. I'm looking right here at Matt, deputy mayor of Fayetteville. We have town supervisors, we have county legislators, we have city council and town board members, union members, environmental organizations, students, ESF people, wave. Cornell Club, we have a club from Cornell, wave. They're quieter than ESF people, I don't know. We have faculty here and all sorts of people in the industry. We have a lot of firefighters I see around here who are coming to listen to these presentations, and thank you for your service. Without you, having lost a home to a fire, I know how important you are. But all those attending today are extremely important because you guys are the decision makers. You're going to decide whether or not we are going to drown, or are we going to take, shall we say, the bull by the horns and really go forward and really try to stop the effects of climate change. I want to welcome we have some assembly members here. I had seats for you in the front, and I'm looking, and you're not there. They never listen to me, even when I'll take it out on you. Bill McNarelli is here. There's Bill. Al Sturpey is here. Senator Rachel May is here. And of course, our mayor, who we'll hear from very, very shortly. Assemblywoman Anna Kellis is here. And she will be speaking, so you'll hear her. I'll speak about her a little bit afterwards. These are the hardest people I know, by the way, the Assembly, and they are still, the fact that they've come back from Albany, they don't have a budget yet. And it's really, really painstaking, and they're working extremely hard. Should we vote now to give you a raise? I don't know if they'll listen to me. And what's particularly important to me is that they consider environment such a priority that they're here tonight, so that this morning, so that they can hear what we're going to be talking about. Not all elected officials are dedicated as these for environment.